In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create a dynamic waypoint system in Unreal Engine 5. You'll learn how to drop markers on the ground and measure the distance between your player and each marker in real time. This system is perfect for navigation, level design, and gameplay mechanics. For this tutorial, we'll be using an empty third-person project as our starting point. Let's get started. First, we need a texture, an image for our marker. I'll use SVG repo to download one. Make sure the icon colors are set to white for both the line and the main fill color. I'll explain later why using white makes things much easier in Unreal Engine. Once you've downloaded the image, drag and drop it into your content drawer to import it. Now, right-click inside the content drawer, go to User Interface and create a new Widget Blueprint. Name it WBP Marker and double-click to open it. Inside the Widget Blueprint, on the left side, search for Size box in the palette, then adjust the viewport size as needed. Set the width override to 100 and the height override to 150, or use any values that fit your design. Next, drag and drop a vertical box under the size box. For my design, I'll place a canvas panel inside the vertical box and add text. You can customize this however you like to match your style. Inside the canvas panel, search for image in the palette, then drag it into the canvas panel. Set the image to fill the available space, and while holding Ctrl, adjust its anchors to the maximum size. Now, in the appearance section, locate the brush image option. Select the SVG image we downloaded and assign it as the marker icon. Finally, inside the text block, enter a placeholder like 10 meters, then adjust the text style to match your design. Compile the widget, and now we have our basic marker UI ready. The next thing we need to do is create a simple animation. First, select the size box, then click Add Animation and name it Floating. With the size box still selected, click Add in the animation panel, then select the size box again and find Transform. Click on Transform and under Translation, set Y to -20 at 1 second on the timeline. Then, at 2 seconds, set Y back to 0. This creates a smooth floating animation for our marker. One more thing, we need to select the text block, check is variable, and name it Distance. This will allow us to dynamically display the distance to the player. Now, let's play the floating animation in the event graph of our WBP marker. First, go to the Graph tab inside the WBP marker. On the left side, you'll see the floating animation. Drag and drop it into the graph. Next, connect it to a play animation node. Make sure the number of loops to play is set to 0, which makes the animation loop infinitely. Finally, connect event construct to the play animation node, then save your work. That's all we need to do inside the WBP marker. Next, we need to go to the content drawer and create a new blueprint actor. Name it BP marker or Waypoint, whatever you prefer. Save it, then double-click to open the blueprint. Inside the blueprint editor, go to the left side components panel, click Add Component, and select Widget. Once the widget component is added, select it, then go to the right-hand side in the Details panel and set the widget class to WBP marker, the one we created earlier. Now, you can see the widget inside the actor. I'll explain the difference between screen space and world space later in the video, but for now, let's continue. The next step is to go to the event graph. Drag and drop the widget component, then use getUserWidget object to retrieve the widget instance. Now, we need to cast it to WBP marker. This makes sure that the object we are working with is exactly the same WBP marker widget we created earlier. From this, we can now access the text block distance variable inside the widget. To optimize performance, we promote this variable to a local variable so we don't need to cast repeatedly every time. This will improve performance and reduce unnecessary processing. Now, inside the event tick, we need to get player pawn and then get actor location. We'll use this to calculate the distance between the player and the marker. To do this, we use the distance bar vector node, which calculates the distance between two vector points. One vector is the BP marker's location, and the other is the player's location. Since Unreal Engine calculates distances in centimeters, we divide the value by 100 to convert it to meters. To ensure we only get whole numbers, we use the truncate node, which removes decimal points. Next, use an append string node. The first input will be the calculated distance, and the second input will be meters. Finally, we set the text block distance value to this new string, so the widget correctly displays the distance. The last step is to connect the event tick to set text, so the distance updates dynamically. And that's how we calculate and display the distance between the player and the marker. Okay, the next step is to go to our character blueprint and bind everything we've created so far to our player. In the event graph, right-click in an empty space and search for keyboard. We'll use the X key, so whenever we press X, we'll spawn the BP marker actor. Now, we need to get the player's transform. This includes position, rotation, and scale. To do this, search for get actor transform and add it to the graph. Next, search for spawn actor from class and connect the get actor transform node to the spawn transform input. For the spawn actor class, select BP marker. This ensures that when we press X, the marker will be spawned in our third person character. Now, let's quickly check if we missed anything. Everything looks good, so compile and save the blueprint. Now, let's test it in third-person map and press X. Oh, we have a problem. The widgets are way too big. I made a mistake in the marker blueprint. We'll need to fix that. When I created the widget component inside BP marker, I forgot to set the draw size. So now, let's fix that. Select the widget component, go to the details panel, and set the draw size to 100 by 150, the exact size we used for WBP marker. Now, as you can see, we have a really nice marker, but there's still an issue. The marker only faces one direction instead of always facing the player. To fix this, we need to change the widget space from world to screen. This simple change ensures the 2D marker always faces the player, and it won't get hidden behind walls or other objects. And that's all you need to do to make the marker work properly. Next, let's add a bonus feature. If you remember, earlier I mentioned bringing all textures in white. Now, here's the reason why we can dynamically change the tint and modify the colors however we want. To do this, go to BP marker, get the image component, and use set color and opacity. Now, right-click on color and opacity and select split struct pin. This allows us to individually control red, green, and blue values. Next, search for random float in range, copy and paste this node 3 times, and connect each one to red, green, and blue. Set the minimum value to 0 and the maximum value to 1. This will randomize the marker's color every time it spawns. As you can see, each time we spawn a marker, it changes color automatically. This is a great best practice for using textures in UI. Keeping them white allows for easy color adjustments in the future. I hope this tutorial helped you understand how to create a marker system in Unreal Engine easily. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more Unreal Engine guides and tips. Your support helps a lot. See you in the next video.